6:15, we will call this Clinton County Drainage Board meeting to order. First item, we have our minutes from our previous meeting on 8/19. Are there any additions or corrections to those?
I have none.
I saw none.
Okay.
Move to approve.
All right. Motion carries 3-0 to approve the minutes. We'll move into our first item is Willard Milner Watershed, the county farm property and erosion.
Yeah, out behind the, well, it's really not behind the farm out there, but out behind the street department, really. You've got some ground there, the Board of Commissioners does. And this is an unusual spot where the Willard Milner open drain comes in and is then tried to be forced into a 24-inch clay tile. And that clay tile's been causing problems as long as I've been on this board. And we go out and repair it. We went out last week to do repairs. And we're informed by our contractor that during the June 12 inches of rain that we had, we experienced quite a bit of erosion, as well as a tile hole. Water was coming up out of a tile hole, running back to the grate. We also installed a grate there several years ago to collect trash and debris, which works well. That, however, was completely full of trash and debris, which did its job. So we cleaned all that out. We repaired the hole, but there's a significant amount of erosion across the farm property. So thinking about this, Zach and I talked it over last week. And what I am considering doing with your blessing is opening up a significant amount of that across the farm there up to the fence row there with the homeowner's property. We would leave enough room there so the farmer would have an access. We have to leave somewhere so he can get to both sides of that ditch. So we'd probably leave it up there for now. Maybe replace that section of pipe there so we got a good access. We don't have to worry about holes developing in it. But we'd still have the same problem of an open drain being converted back to a closed drain. This is kind of a stopgap. I've always thought we really need to look at maybe opening that up all the way through, but we have to go through some backyards to do it. If it's done right, I think most people would be happy with the result, having a nice creek through the yard as opposed to having a tile and blowholes in it every once in a while. But that's also going to be some expense and some engineering due to the fact that we've got to account for how much water we're releasing downstream, and this also goes into other neighborhoods downstream once it gets through the golf course area and the highway department. But what we're talking about, and I've got a contractor now working on a price, is converting that to open ditch up so far, and perhaps even doing a shelving project while we're doing it. It'd be easy to do, it'd give us some additional storage. We would do that in-house with our local contractors, or maybe even work with County Highways some. To see what they can do. It would generate a lot of dirt. I don't know what we would do with the dirt other than pile it on the site. If we do the open ditch thing, we can do what we've done in the past when ditches were developed, is just spread out on the top of the ground as best you can, raise up the ground around that ditch a couple, 3 inches. The shelving project would do the same thing. It would just require more ground to spread it out on. It wouldn't have to be in a pile unless we wanted it in a pile to use for projects. That's a possibility. It should be pretty good soil out there. But just kind of throwing that out, see what you guys think about that. The hole's been replaced. There does need to be some significant grading done there. You can see from that aerial the size of some of these gullies that are out there. So just kind of throwing that out there, let you think about it, see what you maybe like to do.
It's 24-inch?
24-inch.
So what, if you made it an open ditch, what's your transition at the property lines? Back to the tile, like what are you thinking there?
On farm property?
Well, because you're making an open ditch to here, right? And then
Yeah,
the
roughly,
homeowner,
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we'd actually probably be there like right here. I think, well, I don't know, that picture doesn't show the crossing.
somewhere in that area.
Yeah, right there's the crossing.
Yeah.
So we would come up to about right here.
So what's your thoughts on your transition?
We would do basically just like it is now. The tile is exposed, it's got riprap around it, and then we would put our trash guard back in front of it.
And if you did a shelving project, what you mean more of like a deep ditch with the shelving project versus just like a
No, wide,
Like a two-stage ditch.
two-stage ditch, yeah. basically what we did in Tipton, what we've done here, we've got several of these we've done around the county. The Boyles Drain is one of them. We've got one out on the BJ Mann on 330 East. And those spoils were just lost in the field.
Yeah. And then at that point, it's still transitioned to that tile there.
Yeah.
So how far down would that shelving be then, Dan? On that?
I don't have that footage there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably, what do you think, Zach, 800 feet? Something like that?
Yeah, probably.
How deep's
So
your
this is
tile?
probably a quarter mile here. So
It'd be a little
yeah,
longer
it
than
may
that.
be 1,000 feet.
How deep's the tile?
Probably about 4 to 5 feet, not terribly deep.
And so, I mean, some of those, I went out there and met with a contractor. Some of those gullies that are cut are 4 feet deep from the surface right now. I mean,
Wow.
contractor was out there. He fell down a couple of times walking around trying to find.
If nothing else, we
find
really
tiles.
need to get a dozer out there, work that ground down, level it out. That was actually done before I became surveyor at one point, because this has always been an ongoing problem.
I don't think leveling it out's just gonna extend the erosion problem.
Yeah, it's gonna do it again.
About
So-
20 years is
Yeah.
what you get out of it.
Well, yeah, maybe. So we might as well just either create an open ditch or a two-step of open ditch.
I think having the additional storage there by the two-stage would eliminate some of that water going over the top and slow it down.
And maybe even around where it opens back to the tile, we could make a much larger, riprap area
Mhm.
that kind of the water hits up against so it doesn't run over into the
Exactly.
neighboring properties.
Like a dam there or something.
Yeah. Versus, just having your tile here and just putting riprap, 2
Around
feet
it.
around it, like make it a
Give the
wall
opportunity to
riprap.
filter out a little slower.
Yeah. Might be our best option. I mean,
What kind of money you thinking?
I'm gonna guess at least 20,000. That's just ballpark. I'll have a number on that later.
Yeah,
This is just for discussion today. We get figures together. We can bring a couple of proposals, the two-stage versus just the open ditch. Open ditch, I told him to spec out a 3-foot flat bottom and 45-degree slopes, 1-to-1. Which we could go a little steeper, but yeah, I don't think we need to out there, especially with that being a pasture. I'm assuming there's still cattle out there somewhere. I don't know.
but
here,
I
Yes.
think they bring them back there. There's evidence of cattle. But I don't think they've been out there recently.
That's what historically, there's always been cattle out there.
I knew that we had cattle there. I did not
Yeah.
know the
There's
transition.
a lane that goes through here.
Gotcha.
can you use the topsoil dirt, Rick? So, to me, piling it up would make more sense than,
I think it would be good soil.
yeah. I would think that there'd be
You
a
always want good dirt.
good use for that.
Usually is where the water runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's- yeah. I think it's a farm.
So just something to think about, and we'll bring back proposals when we get them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
sounds good.
Do you think we should at least engage with the homeowners to see what the appetite is to make it all the way to there?
We could do that. One homeowner that I had spoken with was in favor of it. It's just gonna be a matter of, if we do that, I would be more comfortable if we engineered it,
Gotcha.
because we're releasing a lot of additional water downstream,
Yeah.
and there are quite a few homes
Yeah.
in North, what's that, North Timberline or
Timberline, yeah,
Timberline
Timberline.
subdivision up there, about 30 homes altogether, which could be impacted by what we do here. So if we're gonna do that, I think we do need to have engineering done.
Okay.
Where if we're flooding ourselves, we always say we don't care if you flood yourself, just don't flood your neighbor, which is what we're doing here. We would just flood ourselves.
Do you think it'd be downstream from that the flooding's gonna happen?
If it happens,
Yeah,
I mean, once that fills up, it goes that way anyway. It just goes over the
Yeah.
land through the county farm till it goes into the open drain over there.
Yeah.
So the conditions, I don't think would change a whole lot. They could in the middle of an event, because it's gonna get there a little faster, because we're not gonna have that storage capacity. However, I do think we would see a mitigation in the flooding that has occurred in the past on Goder Drive.
be losing it, yeah.
But we have to understand what that effect's gonna be downstream.
Okay.
I think it sounds good, Dan.
All right. Next up, we're still in the Willard Milner watershed with the Conrad Heights addition drainage concern.
This is something we've dealt with before. I know President Brewer is familiar with this type of an operation. This is a mutual drain that runs behind the houses in Conrad Heights. It's for the Moose Lodge it's immediately east of the Moose Lodge. It is obstructed now with roots. The county highway assisted us last week in determining that we only got about 250 feet up that pipe, and there's a rather large maple tree there that I'm sure is causing the problem. Is house to the, which one is it?
It's the second house, it looks like. Where the blockage is here.
Yeah, that's the blockage. Then if you go on up to this house, I believe, they've actually brought out a sump pump drain and installed what we call a pop-up valve. And they installed it on the property there to the east, not on their own property, but on somebody else's property, farm field in particular. That's causing problems. Plus, there's also another obstruction to the house up here where you can see the wet ground. There's a problem there, which is what we've usually addressed by being able to jet this thing out, but we're not able to jet it out this time. So there's several issues up there. That person would have to be contacted about his illegal pop-up, which I've already informed the owners and the farmer that, you know, he should have his lawyer drop a letter and tell him to cease and desist and remove that from the property immediately. I don't know if he's going to do that. A lot of times they don't like to engage that. They'll just go around instead of causing a hassle or whatever. The other guy up there, he has no obvious discharge points, but we know he's popping up in his yard somewhere and that water's getting out there. I've also only found two records of septic permits. I'm sure they all had some sort of a record, but it's probably underneath some different name or didn't have an address. A lot of these were Route 4 type stuff. So it takes a lot of research to find out who has what. But this house here does have one, and so does, I believe it's this one that has one. Both from the early 70s, 70, 71, something like that. And I'm sure there's a tile on the other side of the subdivision. It goes back in the 70s. We were still connecting some of those to tiles. We do not get the sewage smell here, but we've also installed risers several years ago, so we can just pull the jet truck up, pop the cap, shoot the line down there, so we don't get the odor, even though we did smell a little bit of it when we popped the main line cap. So it may have impacts on septic systems. I've talked to the farmer. I've not talked to any homeowners, but the farmer and I kind of both agree the best method would be here to replace that tile. Probably go out in that field a little bit. He seemed receptive to that. That way we wouldn't have to clear the trees. An additional expense, a rather large expense because of all the trees through there. But if we could get the homeowners all to agree to pay a portion, the landowner, the farmer would pay a portion, and just build in a new drain. Now our problem is it's not a regulated drain, it's simply a mutual drain. So we'd have to send out letters, ask them to come to the board, explain the situation to them. And that may, if they're not receptive to that, then we could go to the obstruction hearing, where we could put force on them to remove those trees and repair those tiles themselves. So that may be a lever that could be used to encourage them to just participate in the new drain. Don't think it would be a terrible expense. We just need to be a 6-inch drain run up there, maybe an 8-inch, to allow for any future development. This, I don't think will happen. The Conrad Heights, if you look at the plat, it goes considerably further to the north, undeveloped area. So it could need a larger drain if that were to ever happen. I don't know if it would. What I am going to do in the short term is install a clean out. And I don't know if we have, no, really, the exhibit might have been there, Zach, the plat. There are right-of-ways through here that are still exist, still county property. So we can go in there without having owner's consent and install a riser. We can try jetting it back the other way is what I'm thinking about doing. And see if we can at least get it open for the time being. And while we work through this other process. So it's basically just to inform you what's going on out there and what might be coming down the road.
So do the homes to the east, do they have a mutual drain on the backside of it
They
as
have
well?
to. They must.
They don't go to the
They
west?
have, they have
Yeah.
an easement
Right there.
right along
Yeah,
the
that's
back
where the
also.
drain, I'm sure there's a tile there, that it doesn't seem to have any problems, but I don't think they have the amount of trees on it that the other one does either.
They have some.
Did we have this issue before, Dan? Has this been?
We've had this
Yeah.
here, we've had it in other places around the county. One of the more recent ones was down in Antioch where we had the same thing. They put all the trees on top of tiles. We were able to work with the city,
It
get
seems
some
like
of
I
that
remember
cleaned
this
out.
one.
I'm sure it's all over. They got the same issue in my neighborhood. These just mutual drains. We don't have that anymore because we changed the policy at the board. Now, if you're gonna build a subdivision, any drainage in it will be a legal drain, so we have the authority to go in and do what we need to do.
Yeah.
But this one isn't like that. It's just a standard mutual drain, which we heard all about that last week in drainage school. So I learned a little bit about the legalities of this, and we can go in and force their hand because it is a mutual drain.
Okay.
I'd rather not. I'd rather just all see the problem and go forward, but I doubt that's gonna be the way. Maybe 2 or 3 of them will, yeah, that's a great idea, and the others will go, no way, I don't have the money. And probably this house will be one of them because it's growing up in mulberry trees and stuff where you can't even see that there's a patio on the back of that house because it's surrounded by mulberry bushes. I'm not even sure anybody lives there, but the yard is mowed. But that's just kind of an update of what we're doing and one of the issues we're working on here.
Okay. All right. Next one, Hannah Kessler Watershed, 655 South Mash Road, shed roof.
Yes, this property at 655 South Mash Road has a shed in the back that he would like to remove by going through county property. Currently, we have padlocks on that because the city has a lift station back there that's been getting vandalized. And we had some trespassing going on, so we closed off that and locked that gate. It had been locked. We left it open for a few years, but then people start misbehaving again, so we locked it again. Now, our owner is here, Mr. Ron Bradley, and I'll let him go ahead and describe what he would like to do through the county property.
Well, I have a shed I have to tear down, and easiest access is through Primrose Lane and then back here by the lift station, and come through my gate back there, and they could just throw it in there, take it all. But I mean, I've lived there 30 years, and I've used that route probably 10 times, but I mean, no destruction or anything. And as far as the ruts in the yard back there, that was created by the city when they put a transformer in for one of my neighbors behind me. When I was building my pole barn, I established to all the neighbors that if there's anything tore up back there or anything, and I talked to Gary Crum, he was going to come back and redo everything. They saw it if he had to and stuff. Well, I guess that wasn't good enough for some of the neighbors. And, but anyway, I have to get this shed tore down and removed, and I talked to the contractors. They said that they could do it, you know, come through there and do that. But also, when after the shed is removed, I'd like to have Gary Crum come back there, and where they tore up my yard and stuff, I'd like to have him come back there and totally sod it and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's just what I'd like to do.
So how, if someone needs access now, how do they get access? Like, do you
They have to call my office,
and you-
or they have to call the treatment plant. Treatment
Okay.
plant put the lock on the gate and inform me, and I have a key, they have a key.
Gotcha. I have no, I mean, if we can coordinate it,
Yeah.
access.
My
to
concerns
back
would be,
there.
one, damaging the property, you know, fix it up as best you can if there's any ruts or anything.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
have no problem with that.
I was unaware of the first operation where the neighbors were involved. We don't mow this property, the neighbors there mow it.
Yeah.
And she's come before you
Yeah.
looking into purchasing it. So I don't really have a problem. I would like, since I will probably be the one opening and closing the gate, we make this as tight of a time frame as possible.
Yeah, well, that's
So
what
we
I.
can open in the morning, work all day, I'll have to come
Yeah,
back over and lock it
that's
up.
my plan, talking to the contractors, but I had to come up here and talk to you first, and then they're probably just a one-day thing.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
hoping, just 'cause I'm lazy.
18 by 16 shed, but, you know, it'd be so much easier to have the dumpster right there and get it out.
Yeah.
But it's just.
Hopefully it can be done in a day, maybe
Oh,
2 days.
The way these guys work, I would say a day.
Yeah. That'd be my only concern, making sure we don't damage it too badly that they can't continue to mow it.
Yeah.
We don't mow it currently, we never have. We mow the area around that pond, but we do not mow this area.
I've mowed it a few times myself, so I know, you know, the lady to the north of me, she mows it constantly, and she says it's her property, but it's,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, she kept my contractors from, before they put the lock on the gate, she was standing back there by the lift station, keeping my contractors from bringing material through there, which I'd already talked to her about for the last 3 years, and she said, nope, that's private property, that's my property, stay off of it. And she also told me that, you know, that she could put private property, no trespassing signs up there, and I said, well, I said, that's county property. She said, no. She was told that that was her property.
It wasn't me that told her. I've had discussions with her about purchasing this, so she knows
I
it's
didn't
not
know
her
that
property.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah, wait a minute,
if she
no,
doesn't
me.
purchase it, I would like to purchase it and plant trees back there. Because there will be no access to it, but I mean, all it is bare land. I mean, it's not treated
Yeah.
for weeds or nothing like that, but it's just a small, you know, piece of property back there, but that's what I would do with it, and
Well, this is not necessarily this board, but these gentlemen as commissioners would be the ones you would deal with in looking to purchase that property.
okay.
Process would be, we would get a bid, you would get a bid, then we take the average of those bids, that would be the price that you would
Well, I
have
don't
to
want to
purchase
step
it
on her
at.
feet because she's maintained it for years, but it's just the attitude that is being taken as far as
I've personally,
saying, no, you can't have it.
I've personally advocated for getting rid of that property for the last 15 years.
But I thought we had an issue with that, right, Tom?
We did,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
expense.
There's, yeah, it's gonna cost more going through the paperwork and legal procedure to get rid of it than to keep it.
Well, couldn't that be borne by the purchaser?
They were unwilling, I believe.
That was the other one. This gentleman might be more willing.
Because it was pretty expensive.
Yeah. So, but you can come back to
But-
the commissioners. We can talk about that if you're interested.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
for today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's, I have no problem, these guys, so I'll entertain a motion to allow access through the surveyor and to coordinate with the surveyor as well as put it back into the condition it was found beforehand.
Oh, definitely. Do I need anything in writing to?
It will be
possibly-
reflected in this board's minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I don't, I just don't want to have any conflicts like I've had in the past.
It's on YouTube, so pull it up and have her watch it. And,
And she can call my office. She has my phone number.
It's kind of a last minute thing that happens, so I just wanted to make sure that.
I will try to reach out to her as well. I've got her
I was-
number and
I was told I was gonna have the law called on me for being back there.
I'd let them get called because they'll know that it's county property, so.
And I found out she went to gun training, of course, and, okay, that's not this.
well, that actually is if she went
Well,
to training.
Can't do much
Pardon?
about
That
that.
actually is if she went to training.
Yeah.
Most people just
Let's
buy
hope so.
one and away
That's
you
all she
go.
did, so.
I'll make the motion.
Motion,
And second.
all right, motion carries 3-0.
And I think that's all we have.
We have one
Thank
more.
you,
more.
guys.
Oh, one more,
Appreciate
yeah.
Yep.
Where are your bulletproof vests when you go?
Yeah.
it. I can run pretty quick, so.
Probably.
We've had phone calls from her before. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we had one late addition, that's the Jackson Farm deadline. Am I just mentioning that it's
We
9:16?
are just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You can, yeah,
Good.
stay.
Thank you, guys,
Yep.
appreciate
Hey,
it.
see you, Ron.
Take care.
I can't see the minutes from where I'm at. Well, I can see them, I
Yeah,
can't read them.
Basically just saying that they were supposed to be completed with installation of their, and implementation of their drainage plan by September 16th. And that was granted to them on May 20th of this year.
Okay.
I have not been out there recently, but I've seen no activity. Maybe a month ago was the last time I was by there. My recommendation would be to ask our attorney to send them a reminder letter that their date is coming up quickly.
Okay,
Dean likes letters.
yep.
You want to shoot that to me right there?
Okay.
Email that to me and I'll include it
Yep.
with my letter.
Any other business this morning?
Not for me unless you gentlemen have something.
I do not.
No.
Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you very much.
Nice job, guys. As normal. Good job.
Probably should have made him go to the mic.
Yeah. Keep forgetting that.
That's true.
It's easy to forget.